Hello, brothers and sisters. Blessed Sunday to everyone. I will read to you the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 13, verse 44 to 52, which is our Gospel for this Sunday. The kingdom of heaven is like a treasure hidden in a field, which a man found and covered up. Then, in his joy, goes and sells all that he has and buys that field. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant in search of fine pearls, who, in finding one pearl of great value, went and sold all that he had and bought it. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a net, which was thrown into the sea and gathered fish of every kind. When it was full, men drew it ashore and sat down and sorted the good into vessels and threw away the bad. So it will be at the close of the age. The angels will come out and separate the evil from the righteous and throw them into the furnace of fire. There men will weep and gnash their teeth. Have you understand all this? They say to him, Yes. And he said to them, Therefore every scribe who has been trained for the kingdom of heaven is like a householder who brings out of his treasure what is new and what is old. Yes, brothers and sisters, we are still in this chapter 13 of St. Matthew, where Jesus speaks again in parable about the kingdom of heaven. Jesus likes to speak in parable because these are images that can help us to be introduced progressively to what we cannot see with our eyes, the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven is here, already beginning, but it's not in this place or in that place. It's not somewhere in Cebu or in Mandawi or in Minglanilia or wherever. It's a spiritual reality, but it's also not a reality which is totally detached somewhere in the clouds or in our ideas. It's a reality because it's already God present among us. So we need images, and in these images we need to be attentive to the emotions, to what Jesus, we need to place ourselves like in this field. We need to place ourselves in the market of this time of Jesus, when there are merchants somewhere and they have these pearls, and you imagine a merchant. We need to imagine ourselves, we need to place ourselves on the shore, on the seashore, where there are people bringing back fish from the sea. This is not difficult because we have all seen this in the Philippines. We imagine ourselves, I don't know, in Pasil or whatever. Don't go in Pasil now. There are many cases. But we need to imagine ourselves in some places where there is this. So that's the first thing I wanted to say to you. When you read the parables, really imagine yourself in the story. Imagine the colors, the feelings, the smell, the I don't know, whatever helps you to go inside the story. Like a child, you would tell the story, and because that enables you to really feel what the story would like you to feel. And one of the feelings that appears in the gospel today is the feeling of joy. Great joy of the merchant, great joy of the guy who found this field this treasure in his field. Great joy of the fishermen who were able to gather some good fish after their hard work. The joy to receive what is good and valuable from the Lord in the kingdom. And from this joy comes the choice, the discernment, which is also one aspect of this parable, the three parables. There's a choice to make to keep the kingdom, to keep the treasure, to acquire the pearl, and the choice between the good and the bad fish. Saint Ignatius of Loyola say that our discernment comes when we have been able to look and to receive the good, the grace of God, the love of God. He asks us to place ourselves first in the thanksgiving for the grace and the love of God received in our life. So from the grace of receiving this love of finding a treasure, of finding finally the pearl, this is the grace, the gift of God. And then comes the discernment. Where do I have a discernment to do in my life? Where do I have to prefer, and maybe to let go certain things, and some things maybe to, even to renounce to, in order to prefer and to put always at the first place this discipleship, the gift that God has given to me to be a disciple, to be a child of God. So let's ask this grace and this Sunday of joy in front of the gift of God, and then of discernment, a courageous and clear discernment of what we need to prefer, to put at the first place, and also what we need to renounce to because of the kingdom of heaven. And let's live joyfully as disciples and members of this kingdom of heaven, which the Lord already called us to. Have a blessed Sunday, everyone.